everyone, and welcome to this wealthmanagement.com Fast Chat. I'm David Armstrong, the Director of Editorial Content and Strategies at wealthmanagement.com. As a financial advisor, there are many ways you can grow your business. We know this, but where do you start? Most importantly, how do you grow with intention and with purpose? Well, with me to talk about that today is Colleen Bell, the President of Innovation and Experience at Cambridge Investment Research. Colleen, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, David.
So I think, one of the keys to driving growth, I think for a lot of advisors that we've seen has been able to identify a niche market, right? To attack a niche market, it seems you can grow a little faster than the average. So let's start there. Do you agree with that strategy? And what are some of the ways advisors can define their target client base and begin recruiting clients to really become a niche advisor?
Absolutely. Yes. I do believe that those advisors that do have a niche, a specific group of clients that they work with are definitely more successful than others. First of all, I think it's because they really enjoy what they're doing. They like who they're working with from a client perspective. And I think people who are like each other attract others. So I really do think that you have to have a focus as you are trying to identify your niche and really identify who is your ideal client. And usually what I say is that you really want to work with people that you organically try to be with. So people who share the same interests, people who have something that is similar to you, similar to your kids, or a type of profession as another example. So people could work with doctors, they could work with lawyers. A lot of people have found a great amount of success working with people who have settlements. So attorneys that give them referrals all day long based on some of the settlements that they have had. And I think the main thing that I would say is that you really want to make sure that it is something that you want to work with every day. We got to have a great example of an advisor, and she has an all-women client base, and she really identified what could set her apart. So she packaged everything together. It was financial advice, it was fitness, it was things that those women wanted to do together, and packaged it all into one advisory fee. So I think that was a really unique way that she identified her niche, and she really loves what she does on a daily basis as well. I think once you find that niche, though, you have to be purposeful. I think you had said that at the beginning. So identify the marketing campaign. How are you going to attract these people and your ideal clients, and then measure those results. So make sure that once you identify what actions you will take, how are you going to identify them? Are you doing social media? And then see what works. And if it doesn't work, then you can always change. I always say here at Cambridge, you can fail fast. And once you do fail, it means that you're trying. I think that's the biggest thing is you have to get out there, try, push yourself out and see what will bring success to you in the end.
Sounds good. A lot of advisors look to M&A for growth. What's your take on the M&A market?
Yeah, it has been interesting. We'll just say that the M&A market has been, it's a little bit slowed down, obviously with interest rates and everything that is happening there. But I still believe that it is a very successful way that advisors have been able to grow exponentially. I think the people who do it and do it well, again, they have a purpose in what they try to do with the M&A, and they really do focus on a type of advisory firm that looks like theirs. I think you have to have similar cultures if you're going to do M&A successfully. And I think you have to know that it's a long game. So obviously when you're doing and recruiting clients one by one, the organic growth, that could be done in a shorter amount of time. If you're really thinking about acquisitions, you really have to think about this could be 12, 18 months before you actually have success in building that pipeline of advisors who really are looking to sell. So I really think if you want to be successful in M&A, first, know your value proposition. What are you going to bring to that firm? Because that's ultimately what someone will say of, why would I even want to sell my practice to you? Do they have trust in what you do? And then you have to understand, what are the financials? You don't want to buy a firm and then be upside down right away. So really understand, are they running their firm like a practice today? Do they have financials? Are they measuring their profitability? What is their client age? Are there distributions? There's a lot of factors that go into making that M&A successful. And I think also on the advisor side, who's making the acquisition, are they ready for it? Do they have the financials in order to support that M&A transaction as well? So it's complicated. I would say that M&A, it takes time. You are going to learn along the way. You will get better at it as you go. But having a trusted partner whether it's a BD, an RIA, or an outside firm. They've done it before. So I think that they really are that trusted resource. They can tell you, these are the things that you should look out for. I know our succession acquisition team, it's a lot of hand-holding, and some of it's the emotional aspect of someone letting go of their firm and having someone else come on, but some of it's the financial aspect as well. So having expertise when you do M&A, I think is the most important thing.
So relying on that partner is important.
Yes.
No conversation these days with financial advisors seems to omit discussion of artificial intelligence. Are you seeing advisors in your network using AI, and how are some advisors using AI for growth?
Yes, actually, this is really fun. It's a great time for this question. We just had a advisory council meeting with our New Century Council, and they gave me a proposal of probably 70 different ways that they can use AI with their clients or with us. And I said that we would take them one by one. We just hired an expert, actually, who will start in January, who will lead our efforts in AI and machine learning, because you really have to start small. What they have said is if we can just eliminate some of the back and forth that we have today, whether it's with them, their clients, or with us and our financial professionals, because they're looking for resources, just like we use ChatGPT to find the answers. If we can give all of our policies, all of our information into one platform and use chatbots to go back and forth to answer those questions, that's a huge amount of time savings for both the financial professional, the client, and the home office as well. I think the other key component really will be the data analysis. So how do you identify those key trends and predict what is going to happen as you start to see those things? And we've had a little bit of success of doing this, of what clients are going to be retiring soon, or what clients could be leaving, or if you were able to get the assets of this client, you might have more success with these clients that are very similar to them. So I really think that breaking down AI is there's so many possibilities, so much potential, but doing it step by step, one feature, maybe one thing that they can do at a time, I think will be really, really interesting. And it will transform the industry. I've had a lot of conversations with clearing firms and other executives, and most of the agreement out there is it is transformational, but it'll be over a period of time. So we're not going to see people that will just change their firm overnight. But as we start to implement things that could automate the work that we do, could automate the work that our advisors do, that will give us just more time to be more productive and focus on the relationships that we have. So I always have said that technology is an enabler. You use the technology to do the things that you don't want to do, and then you can spend the time doing what you want, which is usually working with your clients. That's great. You mentioned time savings. And I know a lot of advisors struggle with this, with the balance, right? They have sort of this impression that they have to do everything. They're running their firm, they're running the business, they're working on the business as well as in the business. What do you say to those advisors? What are your thoughts on how advisors can achieve more balance in their practice? Yeah, I mean, again, it goes back to purpose. You really have to be purposeful about finding the balance of what work that you are doing as a financial professional really is providing that value to your client. And we have found time and time again, the people who have identified the work that is not value added for their skill set with the financial professional, and they outsource it or delegate that work to somebody else, or they delegate that work to another outside company, they're going to be the most successful. And we've seen that actually in the growth rates. So even our RPM program that really teaches our advisors how to run their practice, their growth rates are 10+% than our other current advisors. But it takes work. I am a what we call it, a control enthusiast, another name for a type A personality. So it's hard for me to delegate, but I have had to learn that I cannot do everything and be successful. So finding your key people that you can rely on to be successful is important. And it takes time to have that trust that someone else can do the work that you have done. But I will say that it is very, very clear from the data that we have seen that outsourcing or delegating does make a difference in finding that balance. And what I've always said too is, it may not be a person that you can delegate to. Is there technology that we just talked about, that AI that could do some of those things? Is there an outside company that can do some of the work that you're doing? we have a great source program. It's called Cambridge Source. And we essentially give our advisors the opportunity to utilize our office assistants, utilize our marketing expertise, utilizing our HR expertise. So they don't have to do it all. They can use us as needed to really help make sure that they have some type of balance in what they're doing. And I've always also said that there's an app for that. I don't do my grocery shopping. I use Instacart. So I don't go to the store anymore. I actually went to the mall the other day, and I will not do it again during the holiday season because I'm just so used to buying everything online. So because it's not a good use of my time to sit in line. I think that I have found that I have to find the right use of my time to find that balance.
Anything else that Cambridge is doing to help advisors find that balance? Here's a chance to tell us what you guys are doing and how you're working with advisors.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think that's the most important thing that we can do for advisors is to help them grow, but also help them find some success so they can actually enjoy the time that they have with their families or with their friends or with their clients. I had mentioned RPM, that's called Real Practice Management. It's a phenomenal program. Advisors actually have to commit to being coached. They meet 4 times a year, and that really has provided camaraderie. So it's not just us coaching the advisors, but we have accountability coaches for all of them. But they get to work with other advisors every single quarter, and then they become friends, and then they work with each other on an ongoing basis to really bounce those ideas off of each other. And as I'd mentioned, that success rate and growth rate is a lot higher than the people who do not participate in that program. I've also mentioned Source along the way and our HR consulting. So I think we have tons of programs that we can help our advisors become successful because we've learned if we can do it for one advisor, we can probably do it for all of our advisors. And if we do it again and again, that repetitive thing I said earlier, then we can make sure that we are making it more efficient and effective for all those advisors as well. And then I think lastly, the succession acquisition team. I have seen so many succession acquisitions that get a little bumpy along the way, and having that third party really be as that mediation, that guide throughout the process that really has helped our advisors become successful. So I think those are the key programs that we offer to really make sure that our advisors have the success that they're looking for.
Yeah, I think with all advisors and all platforms like this, it's the resources, which are great, but also the community, which really helps.
Yes.
So with that, Colleen Bell, thanks very much. I appreciate you joining us on this Fast Chat.
Thank you, David.